Man, this is just oh, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Andy Reflects on Pencils from work he did, years ago. Last episode, yesterday, uh, we went through World War III, issue number 2. It was a DC Comics 4-issue miniseries that spun out of their 52 weekly event. Today, we're going to go through the issue of 52 that I drew. Good morning, Past Master Dan. Glad you could join us. This morning, we're going to go through my pencils to 52 week 39. That's the issue that I drew. It had a J.G. Jones cover. If I recall correctly, the story kind of spotlighted Lex Luthor. So anyhow, let's dive right in and go through it. Let me share my screen here. Good morning, Mad Ruth. Good morning, Christopher John. Thank you, everyone, for joining as we as I reflect on some of my past artwork. This is from about 2008 or so as well. So let's pop it in here. Hold on. Here we go. This is page 1. I do have pencil scans of everything. I'm going to blow up nicely on this stuff. Keith Giffen was the writer of the book. And Pop Culture Avenger, good morning to you. I always like to pop people in like that. Keith Giffen was the writer of the book. If you're not familiar with the way Keith Giffen writes, he draws his writing. And what I mean by that is he takes a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, rolls out the panels, and then sketches in quickly the layouts. That's how he writes. But when he gives it to the artist, he's like, look, do whatever you want with these layouts. If you want to, if it's 6 panels and you want to keep it 6 panels, great, but feel free. If you don't want to do a 6-panel grid, like this page is a 6-panel, let me bounce it back down. This page is a 6-panel grid where all 6 panels are the same size. Keith's like, if you don't want to do 6 panels that are all the same size, change it up. Well, for this first page, I felt that it worked really nice with all the panels being the same size. It gives the same amount of importance to each panel, and it's kind of like just this staccato beat of boom, 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 boom. Whereas when you change the size of panels, it has a different rhythm to it. So, this first panel, I got to admit, was fun to draw. It's just buildings. It's showing Lex Luthor's building here, got the big L on it. I'm pretty sure this building was designed and I had reference for it, but it's just buildings. It's a serene shot. I didn't tilt the camera. I just wanted a nice establishing shot, like, oh, everything's going nicely. It's a moonlit sky with some dark clouds. We cut inside to a nervous doctor, professor, whoever he is. He's being followed through the corridors, by, I can't remember who these two people are. He's gone into his lab and puts his key card in, and you see the people back there. I just love stuff like this. And then she obviously has powers or strength because she grabs the door and crunches it. And then the other reason I did the shot this way, or I chose to do the panels this way with all the same size, is because the next page we get to a couple introductory panels, and then the doctor turning and freaking out, and then boom, a big explosion. So it just kind of heightens that, and I thought that would be really cool. And as I always say, if you're new to the stream, please like the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. So anyhow, the doctor's planting a bomb under here, and then they sneak up on him, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, uh-oh, what? Get out of here. Because, he's planting a bomb, but he doesn't want everybody to get hurt. And big explosion. Turn the page. I did this with the papers here floating throughout the page. I wanted, and I'd have to go back and look at the book because I don't remember, but I kind of wanted the credits to be on each one of these pieces of paper. So let's see, writer, penciler, inker, letterer, colorist. So that's what I wanted. I don't think that's what happened, but you know, I don't recall. Anyhow, the lab's a fiery mess. She was able to create this force bubble, or he was. Like I said, I can't remember these characters, so I don't know who created the force field around him to protect him. She uses her powers to get a fire extinguisher and put it out. He flies up and grabs some water, you know, the sprinkler system pipes, and you know, they're just putting a fire out. People are coming. They gotta hide. Where'd they go? It's really fun. Like, I haven't looked at this job in at least 5 or 6 years. So this is as an artist, it's fun to look back on jobs like this because since I haven't looked at it in so long, I'm so detached from it. It's really like looking at it with a fresh eye, you know, a fresh sense, very from an outsider's viewpoint. They walk into the lab. These security guys are looking at stuff. I can't remember who she is, but you know, she comes in, and then here's where our heroes here. Well, I guess our heroes are hiding. He can fly, float, whatever. So he's up on the ceiling with her. Now I got to admit, I don't know how big this lab is, but let's say it's as big as like my office. You know, when I walk in, unless the ceiling's really, really high, I'd know there's somebody floating near my ceiling. Just saying. Even if that was a 15-foot high ceiling, I think in my peripheral vision, I'd see somebody up there. But, whatever. You know, and this was a Keith Giffen, like I said, script, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels, and I'm almost willing to bet he had this broken down as a 6-panel grid. And this is, like I said, where Keith doesn't mind if you change stuff, and, you know, I changed it up. That's a pretty face, still like that. Looking back at the 2 guards. Obviously, she said something that makes these people worried. Oh, but she's evil. You can tell. Look at that smirk in those eyes. She's not a good person. Then we cut to the floor, the sea floor. Somebody's walking. I guess Atlantis at this point was kind of destroyed. I'm always trying to lead the eye around the page. So for instance, in this panel, this first panel here, you've got the feet, and hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining us. I see you're on Facebook. If you could bump over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. Oh, her last name, Shaheen. I see what you're saying there. So anyhow, I try to lead the eye, so the knee's bent here, comes down this foot, and these fish all kind of guide you down to the guy right here. To go to this panel, and he's got to go to this panel, I've got this fish coming down this way, and these land masses in the foreground on the sea floor all coming down this way. Hey, what's up, North Free? Thank you for joining. Much appreciated. And then we have this panel. He's walking. I can't remember who this is, but the Dr. Fate helmet's floating along. Another fishy brings us here, leads us up to here. And this, I believe, is bearded Aquaman. Not supposed to really know that at the moment. And then the helmet flies up to him, whatever. So it's fun stuff. Let's keep going, shall we? He points over to some distance with his And I like drawing close-ups of hands. Hands, here's the funny thing. People will ask, after drawing for as many years as you have, do you still have problems or issues drawing things? And I tell you what, hands are one of those things I'm always looking at my other hand. So for instance, with this hand pointing, I probably, held my hand up and kind of looked at it pointing to make sure I drew it accurately. So I'm just really anal that way. Even now, I'm looking at my hand to see it. So, but little things I like the depth in the panel where this is solid black that fades. Some more cross hatching here. There he is. Found the channel. Thank you very much. North Free says, is DC going to print every major story they have in black and white, Andy? I have no idea. I would love that because I love black and white art, man. Those showcase books they did, just like Marvel's Essentials. I've got so many of those back there behind me on a bookshelf because I love black and white art. At least they're not ginger root hands. You will have to explain that to me because I honestly have no idea what that means. Call me a boomer. Anyhow, he's pointing over to this sea creature thing here. I don't know if this was designed or not. I have no idea. I honestly can't remember, or if I made it up. But, he's got a dog collar. He's chained up. I don't think that little chain's going to do much, but who knows? He's shocked. One thing I like doing when I do close-ups in panels, I like cropping the face, just because I think it's an interesting crop. Even with this helmet, instead of pulling the camera back to where you saw the edge of the helmet and saw all his eye and stuff, I just think this is more interesting to look at. He waves his hand for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, he's taking his ring off. The ring grows in size and somehow is put as another link in this chain to hold this beast. I didn't write it. Something just fell down. That's odd. Oh, it was nothing. But when I hear something in my office fall and there's no earth shaking, I think, is there a spirit in my office? So anyhow, that was fun. I think we go back to a different page. We do. We've got a stormy night here, so nice long shot showing the island. I don't know where they're at. Once again, I don't remember, but you got the waves and the storm clouds with the lightning cracking down. This is also fun for me to reflect on because I don't do full pencils anymore. Since I ink my own work, I leave a lot of the spotting of blacks and shadows to the inking. So seeing how I used to full pencil stuff is actually kind of cool. Here we got a boom tube opening up. Scientists, people, I don't know who they are. This is Egg Foo Chew or something. I can't remember his name, but he's an old villain from the 60s. He's reading some book. I love this chick in the foreground. She's like, I'm out of here. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you're freaking me out. We cut inside and we've got Dr. Savannah, which was fun because I'm a huge Captain Marvel Shazam fan, so drawing Dr. Savannah was super cool. Getting to design this stuff in the lab, like this microscope and just other junk that he's working on, an eyeball back here, some weapons on the wall. We had a clock face dude, I can't remember his name, back there talking to another guy, all these established characters. And once again, this was all stuff I drew right on the board. Now, this was an example of Keith doing a 6-panel grid. And instead of doing 6 panels all the same size, I decided to enlarge the panels here and there for importance. So you got to love these old wacky Silver Age villains. I don't know who the dude is, but he's got a clock for a head. That just cracks me up. I love this stuff. Savannah close up, just being like, I'm a bad guy. I don't know what he said, but he pissed off this dude. But, this is fun, but it's the little details back here that I really enjoy, you know, just different weapons and tools and stuff on the lab table. North Free, thank you very much. It's great to see the pencils, especially since these days a lot of colors go full Picasso, smearing their shit all over the final details. That's funny, but you know, I can't argue with you. Sometimes simple is better. This is what we're seeing in the microscope. And then just the fun panel. This dude's carrying a martini around. He's like, I'm out. Walking away with his martini. Get to see more of the lab. Just fun. It was fun. This was a 4-panel grid, and I decided to keep it as 4 even-sized panels, equal-sized panels, because to me they're each important. This is the 4 horsemen, I believe, going into the boom tube. I'll be honest, I know they sent me reference for these characters, but the reference wasn't that great. Like, it cracks me up when editors send reference, because not being artists, like back in the day when I first got in the business, man, editors would send me reference on stuff, and these were guys that either were freelancers or just knew comics in and out. And the reference they sent me was just balls on, like you could see everything. Compared to the editor that sent me the reference for this book, whoever it was, the assistant editor, who knows, just sent me these shots of these 4 horsemen that weren't that good, and I couldn't see details. And I'm a stickler for that stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to draw these characters in shadow. They're going into a boom tube that's very lit anyhow, so it's kind of ominous feeling. And I think it worked. Andrew Taz says, channeling a little bit of Alan Davis. Yes, I am. Hey, man, I grew up on Alan Davis in the 80s, loved his work, loved his Batman and Outsiders work for DC. I've always said Alan Davis was a big inspiration for me. So yeah, I still do channel it some. The second panel was fun. You know, we got the doctor walking through the lab. I don't remember what the description was, but you know, they're working on stuff. So there's a robot back there, scientists on different levels. You know, you're just really trying to show foreground, middle ground, background, extreme background. This dude's testing a gun on something. Just lots of stuff going on. We got that Silver Age dude whose name I just don't remember. It's something Egg Foo Chu Chung, I don't know. The scientist looking onto the boom tube in fear. So that's fun. And then our guy finally shows up. This is the leader of Kenneth Rocafort's in the house. What's up, man? Bad reference all the time. Dude, you are so on point. They just, like when I worked at CrossGen, Bonafide Comics, what's up? Thanks for joining. Remember buying this one from the local comic shop. Thank you. Oh, it's Egg Foo. Thank you. So his character's name is Egg Foo. There you go. When I worked at CrossGen, besides penciling, I was also an assistant art director / editor. And when we hired freelancers, it was my job to send reference. I would send so much reference to our freelancers of a character that there was no way they were calling me up going, I need more reference. I was so anal about that stuff. Terry says the details are amazing, especially the second and fourth panels. Thank you. Like I said, I don't shy away. I like drawing details. I like telling the story. You know, I thought this panel was fun to do. This panel, he walks into this lab. I know it wasn't supposed to be a big lab. This is the leader of the Metal Men. If somebody wants to throw down what his name is, that'd be great, because I honestly don't remember his name. But he's working at the computer. He's got a watch here, some cans open here for some reason. Kenneth, I really appreciate you joining. Good morning to you as well. I hope you have a fantastic day. But here's stuff I just love putting in. And it shows the time. This is an external hard drive. You got his monitor right here. I know it's hard to see. I'm circling it as best I can. I'll blow it up. It's going to get pretty fuzzy. Right here is a little metal man that was shrunk down because he plays a part in the next page. I love stuff like he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, Docksider slip-on shoes. Stuff like that's fun. We turn to page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a panel page. And we see a little more. I know the script wanted to show more of the little metal man dude back here. External hard drive cables, you know, fun stuff. Flip the camera, we can see his his tower to his computer with the CD-ROM on it. Man, just little details like that are just so fun. Red Tornado being put back together. Hidden gems, yep. Terry has a question. How much details do you add to a panel considering the panel is going to be lettered? Well, that's a very good question. I try to compose my panels leaving room for where the lettering is going to go. And since all this stuff is full script, I know how much lettering is generally going to be in a panel. So for instance, in this first panel here, this room right here is for lettering. And then this room down here is for lettering. In this panel, this is for lettering. And you can put some lettering right here. Now, oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Now, granted, with there being lettering here, of course, this is all going to be covered. But it's one of those things, I'd rather draw it and have it be covered than not draw it, have a small balloon there, and look like I skimped out on backgrounds. This panel has a lot of room for balloons here, here. Whatever he heard, he's like, I'm out. Plenty of room, balloons here. Cut back over the shoulder. We see little metal man guy poking around here. It's like, is he gone? And then we finally get a nice shot of whichever metal man this is. I can't remember which one this is, but this was just a fun pose to draw. He's just chilling, you know, hand on the monitor. You want to have nice flow to the figure, and you can see it flow through this way if you can see my mouse. And then we end with a nice long shot. The sun's coming out. Either that or it's the moon. I can't remember, but the storm's fading. So, and I believe we're changing scene. So Cecil's great, man. I would love to see like Cecil jump on here. Got to get more of the CG guys jumping on here, and plus all you fans. Whoa, somebody's talking about drinking booze at work. Who drinks booze at work besides streaming artists and writers? I save the booze for the nighttime. I don't drink and draw because I have before. Let's just say it's not my forte. We'll just leave it at that. Next page. Oh, this was fun. I got to draw. So I love Shazam. I say it all the time. I love Black Adam, Isis, all those characters. So we had a fun little establishing shot here of where Black Adam's from. I don't want to mispronounce it, but just fun, you know, palm trees. You got the sun beaming down, stuff in the foreground. I can't remember who the crocodile dude, alligator dude is, but, you know, somebody obviously zoom in on him. Another hand in the foreground. Hands to me are very important. Not everybody speaks with their hands, but I'm a guy that when I give a lecture, I gesture a lot. So I like to do that in comics. I could have left this hand out, but I don't think it would have. I think it's more expressive showing the hand like I did. We come down to, and this was originally just a 4-panel grid. So all 4 panels were the same size in the layout. But once again, I'm like, no way. I want to draw comics where if you're flipping through it, you'll land on a page or any page and be like, that's awesome. I got to buy this book. So, you know, I got the big Black Adam right here. I like giving him the widow's peak and the thinner face. That's just how Black Adam is to me. Isis looking on, once again gesturing with his hand. I can't remember why we were doing a shot like this, but there was some reason to do a long shot. I think clouds were forming. That's why we want to show, like in the first panel, nice clear skies, and in this panel, clouds starting to form. Yeah, I kind of think when I draw Black Adam, I think Namor with the eyebrows and all that stuff. So I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. In fact, I'll show you guys a little treat of something here. Hold on. Since you brought up Namor, let me see something here that I did with Namor that isn't widely seen by people, or wasn't widely seen, but I drew it, so I'll share it. I think it's under Submariner in my folder. Pardon me, I'm looking through a folder right now for something. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Speaking of Namor, there's a Namor that I did. This was for a redo of the Marvel Universe. This guy was doing on a website. He was having guys, and it was free. So I did this just for the love of drawing Namor. I colored this myself, and then they put all the bio stuff next to him, like from the Marvel Universe. I don't know how long ago I did this, but this is my John Buscema take on Namor. And then I also did two of them because I couldn't decide which one I liked better. So I also did more of a John Byrne take on Namor as well, where he's not as buff and he's more lean. And I can't remember which one I submitted to be used. I want to say it was the first one I just showed. But, you know, I like them both. So there you have it. A little Namor action there. So, but yeah, I like both of them. So now we'll get back to, that's right, North Free. North Free knows. Lean, mean Namor machine. All right, let's get back to the book. All right, let's turn the page. I already know what's on the next page without seeing it. I remember it well. It starts raining, which I guess wasn't something that generally happened there. So you got the clouds, I got the rain coming down. As the clouds go into the distance, they fade with crosshatching. People are running because, you know, they're not used to rain there, I guess. Got me. Black Adam's like, whoa, what the heck's going on up there? Once again, I try to get some gesture into the hands. He's like, that's not normal rain. The flowers are dying. What the heck? Oh, thank you. Both look cool. Thank you, Kenneth. I really appreciate that. Being a big fan of your work. She's like, oh my God, the flowers are dying. And this was a 4-panel grid. This was literally, Keith laid it out as 4 equal size panels. But once again, I like getting those hero shots in there as long as it tells the story. So she's like, the flowers are dying. You know, she can't believe it. But I got a nice shot of her. Alligator guy there, and a nice Black Adam. Once again, love Black Adam, so got to work him up. His cape is flying around in the background and stuff. If I get distracted, it's because there's a window right behind my monitor, so I can look right outside the window. And then we cut to another scene. So we were talking about detail. So this was just basically supposed to be a lab. I think this was this was another 4-panel grid. But I said, you know what? I'm going to draw that big panel and work the crap out of it. So let me blow this up here. So basically it's Luthor and his his second in charge, whoever the heck she is from earlier in the book, looking down on a lab. I've got different levels here. They're standing on a level. There's this secondary level here with this dude working at a computer monitor. And then the third level here with these guys overseeing. And then the fourth level below them, computer monitor. There's people, I believe, in these containment pods that I drew. There's a main chamber that comes down in the middle. You got other scientists looking on back here. I love drawing stuff in the foreground for framing. There's supposed to be this little mechanical thing buzzing around. Some guy pushing a cart. And then we zoom in closer as the little mechanical thing buzzes down here behind Luther. They are oblivious to it. And this was, this is the funny thing. I look at this and I think to myself, I drew this literally right on the board. I did a thumbnail, and from my thumbnail, which is only about 2 inches high, I took out my DC paper, ruled it, did a perspective grid, which you can faintly see, and then just started drawing. So that kind of boggles my mind that I did that. A lot of this stuff is obviously done with a ruler, but then there's a lot of stuff I freehanded back there as well. This is cool to look at after all these years. And then we zoom in tighter on the bug, and we see Lex Luthor's reflection in his eye. And I have a little note here to stat this shot of Lex over here, so I didn't have to draw it again. And then we cut to a scene where this is the girl from earlier on that was caught in that explosion with that other dude, and I don't know what she's doing. She's looking at something, apparently. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-panel page. Not sure how Keith laid this out, but I know I changed it some. Anyhow, so she looks up. Oh, that's it. She's looking at the monitor. She was the one that has that little bug flying around. So we see she's looking at the monitor, and we see Luthor and that chick. He's like, yo, what's up? She's like, I don't know what they're doing. It's like her little BlackBerry from back then. He, of course, is thinking about it. That's my go-to when I draw people thinking. I always do the hand on chin. What are they doing, I wonder? Shot. That dude's got a beefy hand. I wouldn't want him to punch me. I think if he punched me, it would hurt. Walking out of the lab. As you can see, I try to always do something big on the page, even on a page like this, which is kind of boring. So on this page, I was like, well, they're walking out of a lab. I'll do a big shot of them walking out of a lab. He's like, all right, let's go over this way. And we see him walking down the hall. He's like, come in here. And then he turns on the light. And what's with that sinister look on his face? That tells me something. I don't know if we can trust this guy. He's got a sinister look on his face as he's turning on the light. And I do remember what happens. Are we ready? Dun, dun, dun. It's a splash page. And she's like, oh my God, that's you. And why in the hell? There's pieces of you missing. And I was told not to go too grotesque. So, up here in the shadows, we've got his arm. You can just see his fingers poking out of the shadow. We've got his foot chained up in there. Wouldn't want him to punch me. Should be the ruling stick for how to draw comic characters. Exactly. So this was fun. I got to draw this room with an autopsy table. You got the saw back here and some equipment. The sink that the stuff drains into. What did I draw here? I drew something there. I don't know what it was. Something gross. like in the foreground, mostly blacked out with just I like doing things where you see just a little bit of highlight on things in the foreground. Whoever did this likes to have a fine wine and food while they eat, or were they eating him? Gross. Another cart with stuff. So just, throwing in the details, even details of her shoes. She's got sneaks on. Her pose, she's shocked, whereas he's just like, oh yeah, I did this, or somebody did this, but that's him on the table. And here's a fun story. I still like the way that face came out. That's a hard angle to draw. So will I pat myself on the back for that face? Yes, I will. This was fun, and here's what I remember. I was actually at my parents' place in Florida, working in my dad's office. And my parents were retired at the time. So my dad's office, I don't want you to think it was like some fantastic, it was their computer room that had a futon in it as well for basing people to sleep over. So the futon was folded up into its couch. I was sitting at my dad's computer table that just had a little computer in front of it. And I was drawing this page on a lap board. And once again, this page was just drawn right on the, no small drawing blown up, traced off. I did a thumbnail, got out the full-size page, ruled out a perspective grid. And once the grid was laid out, just started drawing. So, yeah. So she's like, oh my God, freaking out. And then this dude was a shapeshifter. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. I always appreciate it when you guys are here. I totally understand that I do these during work hours. So if you have to bug out to work, do what you got to do. You can always catch a replay for the rest. I don't know who this dude is, but he can shapeshift. So let's see. This was originally a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panel page. I did a nice big panel here to show the bad guy shape-shifting. And then he's like, look, I can even turn into you. And she's like, oh no, as she gets backed up against the table. Tried to do a cool framing shot here, looking past her to her. And then she pinches her cheek and she's like, well, well, well. As she's leaned back totally on the dude's chest that's on the table. So yeah, it's like, well, 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 what have we here? This chick just ain't having it. It's time for a fight. She's like, back up. Hits her with an energy blast. You can still see the foot and the hand hanging there and stuff. Blast her right through a wall. Her shape-changing abilities are freaking out. She's changed into a monkey, gorilla. She comes out blasting her. She's like, I ain't taking none of this crap from you. She just punches her right into another wall. Or him, whatever. It's got like a rhino leg. You can see them coming into another lab. And then this dude's finally kind of regaining his form. And he's like, you fight pretty well for a chick. What? Don't tell Ronda Rousey that. Ronda Rousey come in here and be like, Smith, don't give me that fight like a chick shit. I will beat your ass. And Ronda Rousey probably could beat my ass. And I'd like it. Yeah. Ronda Rousey could smack me around a bit. I wouldn't mind. And she's like, I am done with this. So, going full blast. Take this garbage. And then, whoa, out of the blue, Lex Luthor, as his name was pronounced in the original Superman movie.
This might answer your question.
Hey.
The original version of Superman was released in 1978.
Did you guys hear me say anything using the Alexa word to wake up that thing? No. Holy Holly can say it to Rhonda. That's right. Trying to get over here. North Free says, you should do audio comic books, Andy, making it fun. I tell you what, I don't know what this dialogue is, but I'll be honest, when I draw this stuff, I literally talk to myself just like this. And it's like Luther steps up and he's like, yo, B, back up. You ain't going to fry my boy here, whoever his name is, because I don't remember, but Luther's taking it. And how's Luther taking the brunt of this? I have no idea. How can Luther do that? And he, we get a shot of him being all cocky because he's Luther. He smashes her against the wall. What? Where's Luther getting his power from? He grabs his face. Give me that face. Just blah. I've been grabbed by the face like that. It ain't fun. And we see past him in the lab. This is a two-story lab real high up there, And we look past him and we see his protege looking down, being like, get her. Get her. And of course, the big grabbing her face. Got some lighting here on Luther. And he throws her against a wall. What is that all about? That's not cool. Not cool. That is the patriarchy showing its ugly face. Luther, you dick. She's like, oh, wait, I want to see if I set something up on the previous page. I did. She gets thrown against the wall. Here's a table here with papers on it. Because we show the table here with papers on it. See that? Got to think ahead when you're drawing these funny books. She's like, oh, that kind of hurt. And she looks down at the papers and they say something that the editor or letterer popped in. I have no idea what. Look at that crunch in there. Crunch. And then Luther's like, shut up. Punch. What is up? Punches her again. So this is one of the leading the eye things. You want to try and lead the eye around the page and get the reader to feel the movement of stuff. So you go from here to here. She's looking down and these angles go to here. So you get the feel of her flying backwards. And then we go to here with his fist and you get the feel of her flying this way as he punches her again. He's just whacking the crap. Look at her bloody face. North Free says, yep, Androts, Rhonda had got arrogant. She thought she could box when she was a submission specialist. Home was queen of boxing. Oh, see, I learn things every day. I actually don't follow MMA, so I didn't know any of that. I mean, I knew about Rhonda, but not that other stuff. So anyhow, he's just punching her, man. What the F? And he picks her up. Look how bloody she is. I don't know if Rhonda's even gotten her ass kicked that hard to look that bloody. And then he backhands her. What in the hell is going on? Could this be drawn in a modern day comic book? Could Lex Luthor be backhanding this woman? I don't think so. This would inflame people. And this dude's looking on just like, yeah, take it to her since I couldn't because I'm a weakling wuss. And Lex's shirt is fried right here. Look at that evil look on his face as he backhands her. Not cool, Lex. Not cool. And this is page 19. So we end the book on a splash page. Unfortunately, let me see something. Nope, that's how we end it. I don't know why this page is so light. And I don't know what was in this here. I was told to leave this blank. I know that. So I left this blank for something. I don't know why. I'd have to look at the book. And Luther's holding her up. I want to say that if I remember correctly, in the printed book, in the art department, they changed the rip pattern in this shirt to look like a Superman symbol. I think. I honestly don't remember, but he's holding her up. This was kind of tough to draw because I didn't want to draw a back shot of her. So I have her body tilted as he's holding her up. This kind of cracks me up that his forearm is mushed because he's holding her up by the middle of her shirt and his forearm is mushed between her boobages. That's right. I said boobages. Boobages. Boobies. Lex has a bit of a dad bod going there. Of course he does. Lex don't got no six-pack going on. He's Lex Luthor. In fact, if I would have redone this page today, I probably would have lost the center line of his chest and just done that big hefty under boob line, and I would have gotten rid of the little rib indications as well. And if I would have done this, I would have done side lighting on her face if I did this today, carried the side lighting down her neck and her arm and stuff. But, you know, books with the nice computer coloring they can do, it didn't need it. So yeah, so that was fun, you know. That was a fun thing to do. This was another fun job to draw. I'm not quite sure what I'll show tomorrow. Let me full screen myself because I do want to show something else, but I don't need to bore you guys with my looking through a folder to show it. I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of memory lane. Since I showed you that Submariner that was for that redo of the Marvel handbook, it's on a website somewhere. A bunch of different artists did things. I thought I did too. I did a Giant Man as well. So I figured I'd show you that Giant Man. I just can't remember if it's Giant Man or if he goes by a different name. So bear with me as I look through my folder here to try and find, darn it, it wasn't Giant Man. What the heck is another Marvel? Oh yeah, it was. Oh, it's Goliath. Duh. Goliath. So here's the Goliath I did for that book as well. Hey, thank you, North Free. Thank you for joining, and I am going to keep it up. I'll be getting back to actually working on the Indiegogo campaign for First Man Volume 2 today. So before anybody else blows out of here, you can get, I got to full screen this. You can go right now, look at the links, and get First Man Volume 1.2, or we just call it Volume 1, 64-page, square-bound graphic novel, the 40-page supplemental program book that has First Man drawn by guest artists, as well as behind-the-scenes layouts and thumbnails from the book. Both of these are, oh boy, got to sneeze, live on Indiegogo right now. Links are in the description. Please back First Man. It helps me so I can bring to you First Man Volume 2 to continue Luke Henry's story as First Man. Like I said, links are in the description. Books go out daily. I'm actually mailing a couple out today. So check that out. Let's get back to this little split screen here. So this is a Goliath that I did for that Marvel handbook redo, whatever it was called. This was actually inked, if anybody's curious. The outline is with a real brush. I like inking with a brush, but all the inside stuff rendering was actually done with a 102 pen point, I believe, 102 dip pen. I like that pen. I like the lines I can get out of it and stuff. So yeah, so this was done 6 years ago. So I couldn't remember when the Namor was done. These were done at the same time. So this is my Goliath. I think I even tried doing the same pose. So North Free, yes. Do you have a planned amount of First Man comics, Andy? Well, right now it's going to be a trilogy. So their Volume 3 will kind of, like, each book is standalone. So if you get First Man Volume 1, I'll go back to my solo layout. Real quick, this is fine. Someone never skipped leg day. Goliath never skips leg day. If you get First Man Volume 1, it is a standalone story. So it does have a nice conclusion. And then First Man Volume 2 will be another standalone story. And then First Man Volume 3 will be another standalone story, but all put together, they create one nice big story. So there you go. It's the First Man trilogy. And you know what? Since you asked, I'll show some First Man stuff from Volume 2. You asked, you're joining me here, which I cannot ask for more. So I will treat you guys to some First Man 2 stuff. Give me a second here as I pull it up. Yep, that's what I want. So here's the cover. Here's my cover for First Man Volume 2. I like to do covers that kind of relate to the story somehow. As you saw with First Man, I'll show it again. I just won't full screen it. As you saw with First Man Volume 1, you get a cover that relates to the inside story. So First Man Volume 2 does the same thing. It relates somehow to the inside story. Show you some pages from inside the book. These pages aren't any particular order. So these are from inside the book, as I said. This is 2-page spread. Let me blow it up here. This is 2-page spread of Luke Henry as First Man. If you know New York, behind him is New York University. That's where he goes to college. So he's just taken off for the day and is trying to save a plane in need. But if you pay attention and look through this, you'll see that is he really saving a plane that was in need? I don't know. Cover's amazing, better than first. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, you know, my job is to try and always improve. Here's another page from the book. First Man Coming Home. If you got the first one, you'll recognize that's Luke Henry, First Man's dad. And another page from the book. Once again, I love doing detail stuff. So, you know, there's his bedroom, typical late teenager bedroom, stuff on the floor. He collects comics. There's a comic box. That's right. Collects pops and stuff. And he's a science nerd. That's what he goes to school for. Here he is flying to this tower. What could it be? I guess you'll just have to stay tuned, as they say. Bouncing from there, we go to, of course, I got my buddy Bart Sears to do another variant cover for me. Bart's variant covers don't have to be, I just want a cool shot. I tell Bart, just give me something cool. Doesn't have to relate to the story. So just like the variant he did for the first graphic novel, doesn't relate to the story. For this one, this doesn't really relate either. I mean, it kind of does because First Man does get pissed off in the book. So this is the Bart variant cover for the book. He did pencil inks on this one. I had nothing to do with this one, unlike the first one that I actually inked and colored. Bart did it all on this one. So there's that from Mr. Sears. So there you guys have it. Thank you again for joining me. Stay tuned. Same Andy time, same Andy channel. That's right. Tomorrow morning I'll pop on. I don't know what I'm going to show yet in terms of my pencils from another project. Maybe I'll go through Stormwatch. Stormwatch, I did pencils and inks for 6 issues. So maybe I'll go through Stormwatch with you guys. That was a fun book. Until then, please support indie comics, support indie creators, back First Man if you haven't, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow. You're very welcome, and thank you for joining me. So like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And yes, I believe we'll do Stormwatch tomorrow. Stormwatch, PhD, it was called, or PD8, I don't know. Stormwatch, North Free. Have to wake up at 5 a.m. Man, if I could do that, that would be awesome. I can barely get up at 6. So I will see everyone tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Bye, guys.